Richard, when you look back upon where you started, when before all of this to where you're at now, did you ever in a million years think that you would be where you are today? And did you have any tell signs from the time that maybe you were little to realize that you're on the right path or trajectory, maybe something you didn't understand from a young age until it finally hit?
What a great question. What I didn't understand were the opinions that were provided for me in a predestined career. My great grandparents came over from Europe, from Romania, Russia, Germany, and Poland. And at the turn of the century, my mother's side of the family were tailors, and they created a business in New York City, Dream Dogs. And my father's side came over, and they were doing like the Sears Roebuck manual that they have, but they were doing layaway for Consolidated Home Furnishings, as that's how they earned their money. So they were entrepreneurs. They came over and learned a second language. They started from scratch. And so for me, having to follow in my grandparents' footsteps of Harvard Law, my father at Columbia Business, and my brother at Washington and Lee University, those are some pretty high bars to hit.
Yes.
Now, I didn't graduate private school. I went to public school, and my grades were good, but not good enough. And so without my college recommendation letter from my principal, I don't know if I would have gotten into Arizona. I mean, I'll be forthright with you. And so at that age of 18, instead of becoming a doctor and engineer, in law, what I decided was to double down on my favorite class, which was Spanish and communication. Because if all of my friends could not speak a second language, maybe I could be marketable. Maybe I could get a job and have leverage and not have my parents grill me. And so with my great grandparents being entrepreneurs and moving to another country, me learning a second language, not wanting to do homework for the rest of my life and be miserable, I almost convinced myself that if I ever had the opportunity, I would be ready. And this 1 in a million shot hit, and I took it. And now, if you can get past your parents' guilt, you can pretty much live anywhere in the world. And I didn't disappoint my parents. They just, and usually it's like a naysayer or a gray believer. These are the people that love you the most. They might say N-O, but gentlemen, it's really that they don't K-N-O-W. Enough about what I'm doing. No, I wasn't being a recluse. I wasn't breaking windows and just going crazy. You're looking at a young man that had momentum in regards to languages. And I was getting a lot of positive reinforcement from my teachers and peers. I volunteered in college to work for Telemundo, and they accepted me. And post-grad, I got a job from my Spanish. And so what are you going to do? I mean, I kept doubling and tripling down on myself. And, it's almost like an 18 parlay. I just kept winning. And so why would I stop this sort of momentum? And now it gives my parents peace for the fact that I am feeding these families on financial stable. And I'm able to speak of myself, my organization, and my network in this sort of way. They realize that they raised a very good son.
I love that. The whole story of, parents and grandparents coming over. So, my grandfather came over basically from Japan post Pearl Harbor and basically thought he was going to be a farmer. Hated it. Ended up getting his citizenship and joining the U.S. Army. First duty station was in Honolulu. Nice. Absolutely hated by everybody, right? Because he's a Japanese guy in the U.S. military. So the military guys hated working with him. Japanese people hated him because he was working for the U.S. military at the time.
Yeah.
You know what? 22 years U.S. Army. All 4 of his children went on to serve. My dad did 2 stints to Vietnam.